This season has started with an absolute bang, and some players are taking full control over the league. Obviously, the top guys like MacKinnon, Kucherov, Panarin, Makar, they're all producing at elite levels, but every season there are a bunch of guys who start super hot or finally just break out. And one player that has really solidified himself as a top player in this league is Kirill Kaprizov. Although Minnesota is the state of hockey technically, the Wild don't really get too much attention from the league. Everyone knows Kaprizov is an elite talent, but I feel like after his rookie season where he was about a point per game, he hasn't really been talked about as much as he should be. But that all changed this year because Kaprizov is tied for 4th in the league in points, right behind the names you would expect up there with MacKinnon, Makar, and Kucherov. And this isn't just out of the blue. Although missing 7 games last year, he still recorded 46 goals and 50 assists for 96 points, in an effort that unfortunately ended in disappointment as the Wild missed the playoffs. But thanks to Kaprizov, the Wild are currently sitting 2nd in the Central Division right now, right behind the powerhouse that is the Winnipeg Jets. Kaprizov pretty much drives the entire Wild offense, and for that, many people think he's a good bet for the Hart Trophy, sitting at about 5-1 odds. So if Kirill keeps playing at the Hart Trophy candidate level he currently is, and the supporting cast of Zuccarello, Eriksson Ek, Matt Boldy, and Marco Rossi perform, the Wild won't have any problems returning to the playoffs this year. And like I mentioned, the Jets are a wagon right now, and a lot of their success is in part to the 3-headed monster they have on offense with Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, and Nikolai Ehlers. These 3 have combined for 53 points through the first 13 games and have propelled the Jets up where they were last year around this time. Last year, the Jets were the best team in the league for a while, finished strong, and then faltered in the playoffs. And I'm sure we were saying the same thing last year, but these guys look pretty legit. I mean, if these 3 players play as well as they have been for the entire season, there's no reason the Jets shouldn't be able to get the President's Trophy and make a deep run, finally, in the playoffs. Also in the West is the Vegas Golden Knights, being led by Mark Stone and Jack Eichel. First, we'll talk about Mark Stone because, frankly, it's pretty rare that we see him playing healthy hockey. We're pretty used to seeing this guy on the LTIR, and I honestly forgot how good of a hockey player he actually is. He's been put on the IR like 5 different times since 2022, but knock on wood, it finally seems like he's having a healthy season, and he's performing at an elite level. He has points in all but 1 game this year and has had as many multi-point games as single-point games. He plays on that top line with Barbashev, who's also having a great season, and Jack Eichel, who serves as the facilitator for those two. Eichel has 15 assists through the first 13 games of the season, and is continuing his success from last season, where he had 68 points in 63 games. But just like Stone, injuries are an issue for Eichel. He's yet to play a truly healthy season since his rookie year where he played 81 games. The past 2 years, he's played just 60-ish games and has produced at around a point per game each season. So if he plays the full 82 games this season fully healthy, 100 points is pretty achievable, but I'll assume he's going to miss a couple games. Nonetheless, with these 2 guys playing at the top of their game, Vegas is yet again a top team in the Western Conference. And sticking in the West, the Avalanche have been hit with the injury bug hard. I mean, this is their forward core right now, and this is their IR. Pretty much 50% of their top 9 are out of the lineup, and MacKinnon has been doing all he can to carry this roster, but he can't do it himself. Yes, he gets help from Rantanen and Makar, but a new surprising offensive threat this year is Casey Mittelstadt. Mittelstadt had a pretty rough go in Buffalo and could never really find his game, so a change of scenery was needed. Last spring, he was shipped off to Colorado in exchange for Bowen Byram, and he ended the last season strong, posting 10 points in 18 games with the Avs. But this year, with all the new ice time, he's performing at over a point per game pace, helping out his injury-ridden Avalanche big time. And it's really nice to see guys like this pan out. Although it's been a while, he was originally drafted with high expectations as an elite offensive talent with slick hands and a strong shot. However, he never really lived up to the hype in Buffalo, only showing glimpses of his potential. Now, on a team with stars like Makar and MacKinnon, he's finally performing consistently well. Now moving to the East, Evgeny Malkin looks like his younger self again. The Penguins are god-awful, and they don't really have any expectations this year, but Malkin turning back the clock makes them a fun team to watch. Malkin had a bit of a down year last season, just posting 67 points, which isn't even that bad, but it's not up to Gino standards. People finally thought that he was going to decline and his goal scoring was going to go down, but it doesn't seem like the case this year. I mean, he's 38 years old, so the fact that he's still even playing in the league is amazing, let alone producing. And it's not just him. Crosby looks as good as ever, Rakell's playing well, Carlson even looks pretty good. The one thing that is holding them back is their goaltending, but even if that gets fixed, I don't see them being a competitive playoff team, honestly. But Malkin has been very fun to watch this year. Tage Thompson broke out a few years ago in the 2022 season, and then the next year is when he really took the NHL by storm, putting up 47 goals and 94 points. He was just a monster that season, and he looked like one of the best goal scorers in the league. Last year, he sort of took a step back along with pretty much every other Sabre. He had just 56 points and only 29 goals, so almost a 50% drop off. But this year, he's proving that the 94-point season wasn't a fluke, and it looks like he's getting back right into that form. Tage has 9 goals in 14 games, producing at just over a point per game. He's also only 2 goals behind the league lead, so a push for the Rocket Richard would be very exciting for the Sabres. And that's really because the Sabres suck, yet again. I don't know what it is, but they can never figure it out, but that's for another video. And also near the top of the league is Cole Caulfield, which I'm pretty sure many Habs fans have been waiting on. He has 10 goals in 14 games, which is just an absurd pace. He's obviously not going to score 60 goals, but 40 is definitely doable. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's never even scored 30, so going from that all the way up to 40 is a huge jump, but I'm sure that's what the Canadiens have been waiting on for his development. One thing to note is that he's currently shooting at 27%, which is just insane, considering he's been a career 10 to 15% shooter, so expect that to come way down, and expect his goal scoring to slow down, but still, Caulfield is showing why he can be an elite goal scorer in this league. Now, Caulfield isn't that much of a surprise to be near the top of the league in goal scoring. I mean, he is a goal scorer, but Nico Hischier definitely is a surprise. Hischier's not known for his goal scoring. He's more of a two-way center and a playmaker, yet he finds himself near the top of the league in goals. He already has 10 goals, which is just insane. It's 1 behind the league lead, and he's helping the Devils win, who are now tied for first in the Metropolitan Division. He plays on the first line with Timo Meier and Dawson Mercer, and the Devils need those guys to be good in order to make the playoffs. They missed last year mainly due to injuries and poor goaltending, so this year with a healthy team and Jacob Markstrom in net, they should have no problem making the playoffs and pushing for the first Metro spot, especially when Hischier is playing as well as he is. And like Malkin, Ovechkin has also turned back the clock, and he's looking like his mid-2010s self. He's been scoring at a 50-goal pace, which is a big improvement after he had sort of a down year last season, only scoring 31, but it's looking a lot different this season. Last year was pretty rough seeing Ovechkin decline that much. I mean, I know he picked up his goal scoring towards the end of the year, but still, he didn't look amazing. And I know he was dealing with a lot of personal issues, so he just wasn't himself last year. Now, he's scoring at a ridiculous pace, and he looks like his old self, so it's so much fun to watch him. And honestly, one of the main reasons why he's playing so well is because Dylan Strome has taken a huge step in his development. I don't think a lot of people know, but Strome has been sneaky good ever since coming over from the Blackhawks. In his first 2 full seasons with the Capitals, he has back-to-back 65-point seasons, and it's looking like he'll get another one this year. It's almost like he's the reincarnation of Nicklas Backstrom. He's the first-line center, he's the best playmaker on the team, and most importantly, he sets up Ovechkin. Stromer is well over a point per game this season, with the majority of his points being assists, and honestly, this whole Caps team is just having an underrated year. Alexei Protas, Connor McMichael, Tom Wilson, even PLD are all having very strong starts to the season, helping the Caps be one of the best teams in the league. Alright, I know Michkov was just a healthy scratch, but it doesn't take away from what he's already done this season. He has had an amazing start to his NHL career. Through 13 games, he has 10 points, and it looks like he's getting put in every single situation to succeed. And I mean, I don't really understand why he was scratched. He was one of the Flyers' best offensive players, but I guess that's just Tortorella for you. Doesn't make much sense, but there is one concern, I guess, behind Michkov is that he really only has 1 point at 5v5, the rest coming from being a man up on the power play or empty net. And that is a huge concern, but I really think we're looking too far into it. He's a rookie, he has 10 points through his first 13 games, which is very good, so he's having a very strong start to his season. And he's going to be up there for the Calder this year, and so is Logan Stankoven. Stankoven came into the league last year, but only played 24 games, so he didn't qualify as a rookie. He also played a little bit in the Stars' run to the conference finals. Last year, he put up 14 points in 24 regular season games and 8 points in the 19 playoff games he played. This year, he's already up to 12 points in 12 games, and although he's known more as a goal scorer, not a playmaker, he has 10 assists and just 2 goals. Nonetheless, he leads all rookies in scoring and plays on a super good team, so he wouldn't be a bad bet for the Calder Trophy. Now time to talk about the goaltenders, and of course, we have to start with Connor Hellebuyck. He's just playing out of his mind, and he's pretty much the #1 reason for why the Jets are so dangerous every single year. Through 11 games, he has 10 wins, 3 shutouts, a 1.9 goals against average, and a .932 save percentage. Absolutely insane numbers, definitely on pace for a Vezina trophy. Obviously, the playoffs are an issue for him though. In the past, he's fumbled in the playoffs and hasn't looked so good, so an insane regular season is cool, but he needs to back it up with a strong playoff performance as well. But for now, we can just recognize greatness as he's having an incredible season. Then in Anaheim, we have Lucas Dostal, I'm not really sure how to pronounce his name, but he's been great for the Ducks, who have the worst offense in the entire league. He's already faced 350 shots through 10 games, which leads the league by 30, yet he still has a .930 save percentage and a 2.5 goals against average. And keep in mind, this kid is only 24 years old, and this is his first true season as a full-time starter, and he's definitely making the most of it. The Ducks are obviously still awful, but he makes them just a bit better. And with the youth movement coming through Anaheim, knowing you have an elite goalie for the future makes the rebuild a lot easier. Stolarz is a guy who's been a career backup, but found himself as the starting role in Toronto after they've had years and years of shaky goaltending. He started 9 games so far and has a .928 save percentage with a 2.12 goals against average. He's been amazing, so I hate to say this, but it's kind of reminding me of 2021-2022 when the Leafs had Jack Campbell. Campbell was playing unreal at the start of the year, then played okay the second half of the season, and then he just fell down a cliff. I mean, he's not even in the league anymore. But for the Leafs' sake, I hope this is their guy, but I just don't know. So I just named like 25 players, and there's still so many more that deserve to be talked about. So let me know in the comments who's having a good year, who's moving under the radar, anything like that, and I can make a part 2. So just leave a comment, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.